Để chờ cho nguy hiểm nhá. Đẩy mạnh hơn cái hôi nữa. Nước đang lên lại quý vị ơi. Đây, nước đang chảy lên lại đây.
Tonight, Southeast Asia faces a storm unlike anything seen this season. Typhoon Kalmaegi, a rapidly intensifying cyclone fueled by unusually warm Pacific waters, slammed into Vietnam's central coast, striking Quang Ngai and Dak Lak, with winds near 95 mph and rainfall that turned highways into rivers within minutes. Entire neighborhoods lost power. Flights were grounded. Tens of thousands evacuated in a race against rising floodwaters. From fishing villages along the South China Sea to inland mountain towns, communities that have survived countless storms describe this one with a single word different. Kalmaegi didn't arrive. Gradually, it burst ashore like a wall of wind and water. This is more than a weather event. This is a massive humanitarian emergency unfolding in real time. And what happens in Vietnam tonight holds a warning for coastlines everywhere, including our own.
Chú anh chị ơi, đây là khung cảnh 18 giờ tại cái đoạn đường.
Kalmaegi's first blow struck Quang Ngai just after nightfall, and it struck hard. Rain hammered rooftops with the force of gravel fired from the sky. Power lines sparked in the darkness as winds approaching 100 mph ripped through coastal towns, peeling tin roofs like sheets of paper. Flash floods surged through streets, climbing waist-deep in under 30 minutes. Families scrambled to higher floors. Some retreated to attics. Others had only one option left: the roof. Coast Guard teams reported entire fishing fleets overturned along Sa Kai Port, boats piled onto seawalls like discarded toys. Emergency radio operators struggled to keep communication alive as lightning shattered the skyline. On social media, desperate messages appeared in real time. "We're trapped on the second floor. Water keeps rising. Please send help. I can't find my mother." Meanwhile, Da Nang, a thriving tourist destination, was transformed into a maze of submerged roads. Hotels along the beachfront saw seawater burst through their main lobbies. The airport shut down after runways disappeared under swirling brown water. As Kalmaegi roared inland toward Dak Lak province, one thing became terrifyingly clear. The storm wasn't slowing down. It was gaining strength and dragging the disaster farther into the heart of Vietnam. As Kalmaegi charged inland, the mountains of Dak Lak and the highlands became a battleground between nature and survival. Rivers, fed by relentless downpours, rose with terrifying speed 3 feet in under an hour. Entire villages, once far from the coastline's danger, now faced a disaster few imagined possible. Landslides thundered down steep terrain, snapping trees and telephone poles like matchsticks. Roads vanished beneath walls of mud. Power grids collapsed, plunging millions into complete darkness. Inside, homes, families clung to each other as roofs shuddered and windows exploded under wind pressure. Rescue teams knocked on doors yelling, "Evacuate now, leave everything." But for many, there was nowhere left to go. A father strapped his children into plastic water barrels, floating them to the safety of a school rooftop. In another village, firefighters formed a human chain to guide elderly residents through chest-deep currents. Every moment counted, every wrong step could mean being swept away. Radios crackled with voices trembling from fear and exhaustion. We can hear people calling from the hillside, but we can't reach them yet. For thousands, sleep was impossible. The storm raged outside and uncertainty raged inside. Kalmaegi's longest night had only just begun. Kalmaegi didn't become a monster by accident, the ocean built it. Meteorologists say the South China Sea was unusually warm in early November, measuring over 82 Hasdegreik and several degrees higher than normal. That extra heat acted like rocket fuel, sending energy upward and allowing Kalmaegi to intensify explosively as it neared land. Satellite data from the U.S. Joint Typhoon Warning Center revealed a rapidly tightening eye wall, a sign of a cyclone growing stronger. Fast. Within hours, wind speeds surged and pressure plummeted, a classic sign of rapid intensification, a dangerous trend becoming increasingly common. And then came the second threat water. Moisture wrapped tightly around the storm, creating rain bands stretching hundreds of miles wide. Even areas 100 miles inland faced flooding normally seen only on the coast. Scientists warn that warmer seas don't just strengthen storms, they slow them down, forcing communities to endure pounding rain for hours rather than minutes. Vietnamese climate researchers echoed what American scientists already know. Storms like this are no longer once in a generation. They're the new normal. Hurricanes on the U.S. Gulf Coast, typhoons in Southeast Asia, the message is the same. Warmer oceans mean stronger storms everywhere.
Quá sợ luôn.
For families across central Vietnam, Kalmaegi wasn't just a storm, it was a fight to stay alive. In Quang Ngai, parents lifted children to rooftops as water surged through their living rooms. In Dak Lak, people smashed holes into ceilings to escape flooding from below. Emergency hotlines were overwhelmed, many could only scream into the wind and hope somebody heard them. At least 18 people were reported dead, drowning collapsing walls, landslides, every loss a story cut short. Dozens more remain missing. Hospitals switched to backup generators as doctors treated injuries by flashlight broken bones, lung infections from dirty floodwater, deep cuts from debris turned into weapons by the wind. Inside, shelters' families huddled together on gym floors. Blankets soaked eyes wide, listening as thunder cracked overhead. Many evacuees had already survived previous disasters, a wildfire, a landslide, a storm from years prior. Trauma returned like a familiar enemy. One mother sobbed when asked by reporters what she needed most. Not food, not money. I just need my family alive tomorrow. Kalmaegi brought destruction to buildings but devastation to hearts. The storm tested not just infrastructure, but human endurance. Amid the chaos, Vietnam mobilized with extraordinary speed. More than 25,000 soldiers, firefighters, and rescue workers surged into the impact zone, the largest emergency activation since 2020. Amphibious vehicles rolled through flooded streets. Helicopters battled fierce winds to lower rescue baskets onto rooftops where families signaled with flashlights and towels. Rubber boats traveled door-to-door, names shouted into the storm. Anyone inside? We're here to help. In Da Nang, volunteers formed human chains to pull seniors through powerful current. In Quang Ngai, fishermen who lost their boats used whatever floated to rescue neighbors. Refrigerators, barrels, even wooden doors became lifelines. Shelters converted from schools and churches overflowed as more than 95,000 evacuees sought safety. The Vietnam Red Cross delivered blankets and food, while local radio stations broadcast non-stop updates, ensuring no one was left uninformed. International support signaled fast. Aid groups in the U.S., Japan, and Australia tracked the storm and prepared relief aircraft the moment runways were declared usable again. Even as roads collapsed, even as landslides cut off mountain villages, the rescue effort did not stop. Humanity stood its ground against nature's most relentless assault. After Kalmaegi's winds finally weakened, the questions began. How did a storm this strong hit so far inland? Why did water rise faster than warnings could reach people? And how many more storms like this are coming? Vietnam is discovering what Americans already know from Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane Ida and California's deadly floods, we are entering a new era of storms. Stronger oceans, heavier rainfall, disasters that move farther and faster than emergency plans were designed for. Coastal defenses once considered secure now fail under record-breaking surges. Mountain communities once safe now face catastrophic floods and landslides. Nature keeps rewriting the rules and humanity must adapt. Engineers are now calling for climate-smart infrastructure, elevated roadways, better drainage, more resilient power grids. Scientists urge stronger early warning systems and community drills that prepare families long before disaster strikes. Because Kalmaegi didn't expose weakness, it exposed vulnerability we can no longer ignore. For the people of Quang Ngai and Dak Lak, survival came through courage and unity. But survival should never depend on hope alone. It must be built neighborhood by neighborhood, decision by decision. Kalmaegi leaves behind a message written in floodwaters: prepare smarter, respond faster, or the next storm will write the story for us. Kalmaegi may have faded from satellite images, but its impact is carved deep into the heart of Vietnam. Families sift through shattered wood and twisted metal, searching for anything they can rebuild a life from. Children clutch rescued school books, the only belongings left dry. Farmers look out over the flood-soaked fields that once fed their communities, now silent under a layer of mud. Yet, through the heartbreak, the strength of the Vietnamese people rises like the sun after the rain. Communities share meals by flashlight. Volunteers deliver clothes and medicine to those who lost everything. Rescue teams continue searching long after the cameras are gone. The road ahead is long weeks to restore power, months to rebuild, years to heal. But there is hope. There is unity. There is determination stronger than the storm itself. And this story is not just Vietnam's. From Miami to Manila, from Houston to Da Nang, every coastline faces a future shaped by rising seas and intensifying storms. The challenge is global, and so must be the response. If you believe awareness saves lives, like this video. Share this message. Subscribe for global disaster updates.